Movie Reel. I'm Samantha Tomlinson.
I'm Kevin Tracy.
And I'm Ben Deckert.
And Ben's still here with us, folks. He didn't disappear on us in between episodes.
Can't get rid of me that easily.
Even when he has a stroke mid-sentence, we can't get rid of him.
So we are continuing with our talk about Attack of the Clones. I think we said in the last episode, we were hoping maybe this wouldn't have to be split into two, but let's be real.
There's so much to talk about. We're barely scratching the surface. I am trying so hard to hold back so we don't go on as many tangents as we did in Phantom Menace.
There were many tangents that I cut out. Did you guys listen? Yeah. There were many tangents.
I have not yet because I've been busy watching and rewatching Attack of the Clones and the other prequel movies.
There was one tangent I think I left in because it went right into the conversation, so I had to leave it in. But there were some, I think that was Phantom Menace. But there was some that I okay, this is interesting, but it's going on for so long, I have to cut this out.
Yeah, I'm trying so hard to hold back us going on any tangents. And I mean, there's going to be a few that's coming through, but it's just there's so many just random funny tidbits of information that I felt kind of slipped through the cracks if you're just casually watching this. But Ben and I we've seen this movie so many times. It's Ben, when's the last time you saw this movie, Ben?
I know I watched all the movies before Force Awakens came out. I think I did the same thing before Last Jedi.
Yeah. So
it's been, definitely Last Jedi, when that came out, that was the last time I watched episode 1 for sure.
Yeah.
And I guess episode 2 and Clone War, Attack of the Clones.
Even if we haven't seen these movies in a while, we still know these movies so well that we could you're following along with us.
I think Attack of the Clones is one of the Star Wars movies I've seen the most.
Yeah, I feel it's kind of the same with me. I mean, I've definitely seen.
It's the first one I can remember seeing in theaters, and it's the first movie I can remember that I saw twice in theaters. I think I even saw it 3 times. I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Oh, we got a fancy. Yeah. I think the first movie that I saw multiple times in theaters was Sorcerer's Stone.
Oh, okay, I think that's funny. I think my sister went and saw that, and then my whole family went and saw that in theaters. And then I think Finding Nemo I saw twice in theaters, and I was thinking about this today. I think High School Musical 3 I saw twice in theaters.
Oh, perfect.
And one of the Twilight movies I think I saw, and Harry Potter, those type of things I saw twice.
Oh wait,
last movie I saw twice in theaters was Force Awakens.
I think the last movie I saw multiple times in theaters was Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Nice,
because I had to see that movie more than once.
I love how in our attempt we're going to have less tangents, we went off on one.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Where do we leave off in talking about the movie?
We're about halfway through. I think we
were at the pod race, right?
Yes. Yeah, Ben Quageneros.
We are just after we were talking about Anakin having his his vision about his mother.
Had his nightmare.
And the next morning he's meditating or whatever, and Padmé comes out, and this is why I asked earlier if she had servants there, because her hairstyle changes as much as her clothes, and her hair in particular, the night before it was in a fat braid, and this morning these are not regular curls. These are someone curled her hair. And I'm okay, this is just impossible. There's no way. Did you get your hair curled before the second you woke up? Or this, that is not... You
No, she just wakes up with natural curls.
This is, again,
doesn't your hair do that?
It's just like I said, a lot of Padmé's clothing are all meant to be because trying to connect her into this whole weird cheesy romance novel that this whole storyline is taken. And this is, but anyway, Anakin is meditating and oh, your presence is soothing, and then decides to go to Tatooine to find his mother.
I have to find my mama.
That's exactly what he says. That's his line. I actually, it's very random. It's not like the robe or the sweater or whatever she's wearing when in this scene. It's almost like, oh, that's the same one that she's wearing in Revenge of the Sith when Obi Wan comes to her and says, "Hey, Anakin went to the dark side." And the only reason I remember it is because that is probably the one piece of clothing she has that I'm like, I want that. Like, I would wear it all the time, and it looks so soft. But anyway,
the almost like I think I know what you're talking about. It's almost like
it's like a purple, like fuzzy, like sweater robe thing, whatever. It's like she's wearing it like over her nightgown when she's talking with Anakin. Anyway, I think actually this movie does a lot of jumping back and forth between Anakin, Padmé, and Obi Wan, and then occasionally Yoda and Mace Windu, and he's like, still chasing. Oh, he put a tracker on Jango Fett's ship and chasing him, and we get another like chase scene of them going through an asteroid field.
Jango Fett's ship that everyone should recognize from Empire.
Yes, the slave one.
Fire spray.
I was more. The thing is, because I don't know if you listened to our Star Wars episodes, Ben, but I kind of said this last. Okay, I was saying that last year. I did not understand the big deal about Boba Fett, because to me, like, I'm sure Kevin said like he's done a bunch of stuff in like novelizations and comics, whatever, but in the movies, all he really does is hypothetically
stand there.
Yes, stand there.
He is the badass looking hype man in the movies, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and he takes Han to Jabba, but there's not like a real like fight between them or anything. He's just kind of standing there. I did not understand why everybody, and I understand like having a weird love-hate relationship with a villain, but like he didn't do anything and I didn't understand it. And then even like Clone Wars, I'm like, I mean, I get why after having seen Attack of the Clones, but he's a little shit in Clone Wars, Boba Fett. And then in Mandalorian, I'm like, okay, this is a Boba Fett I can get on board with. So his ship doing, what is it? The like
the slave one.
No, not the ship. The it's not a bomb, but like the thing, the explosive.
The seismic charge.
Yes,
which has best sound design in Star Wars.
Yeah. Yes, the most satisfying sound in all Star Wars.
I think this movie was nominated for best sound.
Makes sense.
It did not win, but it was nominated.
But I also think it's funny because like everyone like nitpicks that scenes. Like it's like, as awesome as that sound is, there technically wouldn't have made a sound at all because there's no sound in space. Like, shut up and let me enjoy this. Get your logic out of Star Wars.
But they they end up landing on Geonosis, and
yes,
Obi Wan can't get a signal, and then it's like, or I think I'm jumping ahead, but he can't get a signal, and is like trying to signal Anakin on Naboo. He's not on Naboo. He's on Tatooine. What's he doing there? Like,
his trusty droid R4. He's trying to contact the Jedi Council on Coruscant, but he can't make it because his ship's too badly damaged. So he has to like piggyback a signal through Anakin, and because he's the closest one that he can get this message across. But it's like, wait, he's not where he's supposed to be. God damn it, Anakin! You had one job. So he does that, and he gets the message across to Coruscant and like the Prime Minister's office, and like all the Jedi are there because they all have to be there. But like before he does that, he like investigates. So he looks around and it's like he didn't see Jango Fett, but he does see like Dooku and like all these other separatist leaders. It's like
Wat Tambor
talking about. Yeah, Wat Tambor,
leader of the Techno Union.
Don't start with that. No tangents. No tangents. Son of a bitch, Ben, you made me lose my train of thought.
But yeah, Newt Gunray's there. Poggle the Lesser.
Yeah, a lot of like the very
all the bad guys
prominent
are hanging out.
separatist leaders are there, and he sees like the droid factory. He's like, "Oh, they are building an army," and he hears them say that, and he hears Newt Gunray saying like, "Oh, he's the one who hired the assassination on Padmé. Why didn't we think of that? This guy's literally had it out for you since like day one." So he conveys that message, and then of course, like after he's conveyed that message, he gets attacked by 2 droidicas and is then basically captured. And it's like, well, we gotta go save him right now. Now, Anakin, I want you to don't go anywhere and protect the senator. Just stay there, and of course, like, hey, you gotta protect me. I'm going to Geonosis to save him. It's like, all right, well, I gotta protect her.
Like, well, I'm following Obi Wan's orders.
I know, he puts in no, like, I thought that was weird. I'm like, I believe, like, yeah, why he would totally be like, okay, sure, you're going, like, why he didn't put up a fight, but why he was, like, not more willing to, why he didn't initiate, hey, we gotta go save Obi Wan, or I can't, like, I know, I get, unless it didn't come off as, like, a discussion of, but I'm not supposed to leave you, and, we're supposed to, I don't know, I thought it was weird that he wasn't more, like, on his own, like, yeah, we gotta go rescue him. It was all Padme that was like, hey, no, we gotta do this.
Yeah.
But before that, when they get to Tatooine, and, Watto, everyone's favorite, and he ends up finding, Shmi Skywalker got married to some, what's his name?
Kree
Lars, and we meet Owen Lars and his girlfriend Beru, and you're like,
Beru White Sun.
What's her name?
What?
White Sun.
White Sun?
Yeah. It's never mentioned pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, I think it was probably only mentioned in the novelization.
But they apparently I did kind of love this scene because the design for this house, this like home, is so cool, and it's like really, it's like built into the dirt, and I kind of love that they're sitting around at that same table where in X amount of years Luke is going to be sitting with Owen and Beru saying how he wants to join the academy. Like it's just funny. Like I'm just curious is it the same props and set, or did they have to rebuild it completely?
They I think they rebuilt it because I know now it's like a standing thing. Like you can go there and just visit, and like actually I think there's like a service there that actually like lets you like spend the night there.
Oh my god!
And basically treat it like an Airbnb. But I mean, you got to travel. It's like, is it like Tanzania or something?
Tunisia.
Yeah,
Tunisia. I was like, I knew it started with a T. I couldn't remember. But I don't think it's the same as what it was in.
Yeah, I
can't
remember.
Because I think it was. I think they either like completely like dismantled or abandoned the set after the original trilogy. I would honestly have to look that up, but they preserved the set from the prequels, and I don't know if it's the same set that they use in the sequels.
It's the same crater.
It's the same crater? Oh, okay.
Yes. With they had to rebuild the dome and all the house stuff, but the crater's the same.
Okay, well.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
But like apparently there was like Tusken Raiders have her, and it's been a month, and did he like injure himself like looking for her?
He went looking for them and
he lost his leg.
Yeah, okay.
Or
yes.
leg or legs.
And then
it's like 20 of us went out looking for her, only like 5 came back. Like some like alarming statistic.
Yeah. And this is when
it's like we're not getting her back. She's probably dead. I know a lot of those people are dead. I would go out there looking for her, but as you can see, I have lost a leg, and I am bound to this wheelchair for life now. So I did my best.
But Anakin decides to go, and this shot was weird. Like he's like out, and Padme follows him, and it just is like the camera's just focusing on their silhouettes.
Well, it's his shadow is supposed to look like Darth Vader. That's what that whole shot was.
It didn't. Okay, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe I just didn't see it. It just, I was like,
well,
okay, I will go back and check.
You weren't using your imagination,
But I'm like, I don't know. I think it bothered me because I'm like, what a random. Okay, if that's the case, then okay. But then it was a weird use of binary sunset. I thought it barely fit. And he ends up, going racing after, and then finds where all the Tusken Raiders are. And so his mom was about to die, and he just barely got there.
Yeah.
Okay.
She died immediately in his arms.
Yeah.
Hey, long time no see. You look great.
You're so handsome.
I love you, Hablurg. Yeah. It's you look great. I love you, Hablurg. And it's well, here I go on killing.
Really?
And just proceeds to butcher the entire village, and we get
Yoda.
I can't remember. Yeah, we get Yoda getting a little bit of the Imperial March theme kind of playing as he's hearing yeah, it's just a lot going on.
In the background, you can hear Qui-Gon's voice trying to stop him.
What? Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yes. Yep.
I did not hear that.
I was waiting for someone to pull that up. If someone doesn't pull it up, I will.
Mention, Kevin, you might remember this. 2 years ago, my neighbors that live right behind my parents' house, I sometimes they have a lot of windows open, and I could see I was what are they watching? It looks really familiar, and I realized it was Attack of the Clones, and it was this scene, I think, and I
okay. I'm not remembering this conversation, but go on.
I immediately text you, Frank and Reed and Aaron, I think, and then I texted a couple of my other friends. So two different text chains, and
okay.
One of them responds with, I said, LOL, my neighbors I can see into their house. Not like a creeper, I can see it.
I'm watching my neighbors.
I can just see the wind, the blinds are open and I can see the TV. And I'm LOL, my neighbors are watching episode 2. It's the sand people killing scene or whatever. And one of my friends responds, episode 2 of what? And the thing is, I use the 2 dashes, the Roman numerals. But then when I got the response and we had this discussion, and I'm like, okay, if I was watching episode 2 of something, I would just say what I'm watching. I wouldn't specify the episode number. But anyway, but Kevin responded with, I told him the exact same thing, and Kevin responds with, I slaughtered them like animals.
I mean, that's the only appropriate
As you
response.
should.
Do you remember now? This was maybe a year plus ago. It was 2 years ago.
I don't remember, but I fully am on board with what I wrote.
But this scene, I weirdly love it because I think, it's sad, but that moment, she's dead, and Anakin just is full on vengeance, completely, So that's the thing. Are you, the second you're acting on anger or hate or any of those, are you using the dark side?
I feel like if you're acting purely through emotion and then channeling that through the Force, then yes, then you're using the dark side. Him doing that technically wasn't in the dark side, but it wasn't. He was not behaving as a Jedi should.
Yeah. Okay. And
naturally, he killed an entire village.
Yeah.
For the most part, I guess innocent, or well, not really innocent, but just chaotic neutral beings that just.
What are they?
They're
not
They're basically an allegory for Native Americans.
Basically, yeah.
Oh.
And that's
okay.
Even stronger in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It is.
Because in that episode, it's literally cowboys and Indians working together.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
In this very, very Western town, in this already very Western type show.
Oh man, I did not think about that. Okay.
I mean, he even calls himself the Marshal.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Timothy Oliphant. But I kind of, so when Yoda's saying he's feeling a lot of pain and suffering, and he says Anakin, I'm feeling so much pain from young Skywalker or whatever. And at first I'm is he feeling also, does he know what he's doing, or is he just feeling his anguish?
I think he has a rough idea of what he's doing based purely off of what's going on in the Force. It's like he is an emotional wreck right now, so I can only imagine what's going on, but I think I can make a strong guess purely off of what he is feeling right now.
Yeah.
Because, I've been around the galaxy once or twice because I'm a few hundred years old. I kind of know why people feel this way when something happens. So I think based purely off of context clues and him feeling what's been going on, it's like, I guess someone died that was close to him? Question mark. Well, let's go deal with that.
So, because the thing is, I remember watching I think it was the animated Clone Wars movie when I was watching Clone Wars. I'm like, I should probably watch this, and
yes,
I think it was that made me realize, because I always thought his guilt, he has a lot of guilt over not reaching his mother in time, and it's pretty prominent, and it's kind of like brought up on and off throughout the show. And in the movie, I think it was made me kind of realize, I always thought it was the guilt from what he did, the fact that he killed all the Tusken Raiders. And I think it wasn't until like the movie maybe did I realize, oh no, it's because of his mother. He doesn't have any remorse.
Yeah, no. For the most part, I don't think he really has like any remorse for what he did to the Tusken Raiders. Like throughout like the entire series, he never mentions that at all. So back to the movie, Padme and Anakin are defying Mace Windu's orders, kinda, and go to Geonosis to save Obi Wan, and they find the droid factory. Oh, and also while they're on Tatooine, Anakin finds 3PO again, and he just kind of goes with them.
Yeah, he just
like he doesn't say to the Lars that he's going with them, so it's like he more or less just kind of just stole this droid.
Yeah,
I mean it was his to begin with, but I mean it's like, you're not going to just tell them that you're going with them, because I feel like they kind of needed him more than you guys needed him. But I mean, I'm glad he went with you guys, but at least tell them where you're going.
So they have like a funeral for Shmi and sorry, I almost said Natalie Portman. Padme is wearing her like third outfit since arriving on Tatooine. It's like, how many clothes did you bring? Like
all of them. She always travels with the full wardrobe.
She's wearing the most practical outfit that aside from her like Senate clothes, she's wearing the most practical outfit. And I didn't understand why this wasn't what she was first wearing when they arrived on Tatooine, because the outfit she was wearing when they arrived, it looks kind of like it looked kind of like a pop star, like a 2000s pop star outfit, like with the midriff. And I'm like, what? Why would you think this is appropriate to wear?
Oh no wait. This one didn't really have the midriff. Her. Oh no wait.
Yeah, see,
No wait. It was a full thing, and then it turned into a midriff after the Nexu clawed her.
No,
I guess like it tore off. It tore off enough cloth, and then it fell.
This is talking about the outfit she was wearing when they arrived on Tatooine.
Okay. I'm talking about the white one. Why don't we
just get there now, because when they're like put in the arena, and she is the only one that's like trying to escape, and one of the monsters like claws her back, like you said, and it claws her back. Her entire sleeve falls off, and the entire material covering her torso just falls off, and it's just now she's wearing like a really short shirt. It stops just under her chest, and this pissed me off so damn much, because I'm like, first of all, how shitty is this fabric that all of it that
I mean,
but if it's that shitty, I'm surprised the whole thing didn't fall off. Like, that's what and as well as what pissed me off the most, though, was because, and I mentioned this before, all of her outfits seem to reveal something, like her back or her midriff or her shoulders, and she's wearing the one, like, the most practical outfit. And I talked about this last year. I have a huge appreciation when women in film have stylish but practical clothing, and she's finally wearing something that she can move in.
It's like
and then
Leia's battle parka.
Yeah, well, but all of Leia's almost everything Leia wears is practical.
Nice callback, Ben.
No, seriously, I talk about that all the time. It's practical, and I think even for Leia though, the bikini that bothered me slightly less because that wasn't her own clothes. That was just what was given to her. And then she, still kills Jabba with it. But this was just like, it just seemed like an unnecessary excuse to show more of her. And it was like, it just annoyed me. It was unnecessary. And that's my rant about her costume.
Golf clap.
Okay. But when they when they arrive on Geonosis, sorry. They're like,
sorry, the other desert planet.
The other desert planet.
The only one that matters. Forget Jakku.
And they're like wandering through the factory, and all of the like Geonosians or bugs or whatever. Those are the Geonosians, right?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
They're like in the walls, and then they both stop, and I'm like, why aren't you just turn around? Like, they're both just still, like, standing there, like, what's that? It's like, if you turn around, you'll see what was making all that sound. And then they're, a whole not weird, I guess it's like another chase scene, essentially, through the factory.
Yeah.
And Padmé's, like, cardigan scarf thing, I'm like, I would just ditch it. Are you worried it's gonna get caught on something? You're trying not to be, like, smashed, or, but I feel like there's a moment when Anakin. So what was up with Anakin? His arm was like stuck under something.
Yeah, he got like
stuck in like a press.
Yeah, it got stuck in the press of like a B1 battle droid. I think it was either like the arm or like the makings of like the torso. It was like a part of like a B2 battle droid.
I think it was like a hip joint.
Yeah, basically it was like stuck in like a part of the B2 battle droid, and his arm was stuck there, including the lightsaber. Which, wait, your lightsaber's in there. Why didn't you just ignite it and then you can kind of like wiggle it around so you can actually like cut yourself free? Because it's just a sheet of steel around you.
The press is what cut his lightsaber in half.
Well, I mean, that wasn't until later. Like, he still had like plenty of like other like steps along the assembly line for him to like escape prior to that happening, and that didn't happen because when that happened, then he was cut free.
Maybe.
But then his lightsaber is broken, and he's like, I feel like this is the most like. It's a lot of weird. It's funny, and it had actually a lot of personality and like inflection in his voice when he was like, "Oh man, Obi Wan's gonna kill me." Like, his voice sounded so different in this one bit, and I don't know if it was just because it was a joke, or just what it was like a ton of personality in that like one line.
This whole factory scene was shot during reshoots.
What?
Oh, really?
Yes. The whole live action factory scene was shot in 4.5 hours.
Shit. Wait, all of it was shot in reshoots? Was it not shot?
It was to add more energy to like the end of the, because originally they just showed them Tatooine and were arrested.
Wait, they were arrested
you mean Geonosis?
Geonosis. I'm like, sorry, yeah, Geonosis.
The other desert planet.
The desert planet.
I mean, yeah, it's a fun, mainly it's like also fun because like C-3PO, his head and his body get like separated, and his head is placed
the constant puns from 3PO.
Oh my God.
He contributes nothing to the rest of this movie except provide puns.
What a drag, as like R2's dragging him away.
Oh my God. It's like, I'm quite beside myself. Yeah, he provides absolutely nothing but puns, and it just gets to a point where it's like, this is exhausting and it is distracting from the fight that is going on right now. There are people dying around you and you have the audacity to make puns, sir. How dare you?
Do you guys think though the scene I mean, yeah, it just offers action and it shows like the droid factory, but
I thought the droid factory was pretty cool.
Yeah, like
it's everything in there served a purpose.
Yeah,
sort of.
It does seem
it wasn't like they're just random machines.
It does sound weird to just cut to them being like on like with the chariot that's going to take them out.
Yeah,
but like it also, I do agree that the ending, it was. I feel like there's like, it's like Lord of the Rings. There's like a bunch of climaxes. Like it's the arena, and then there's the fight with Dooku.
And then Yoda saying "Begun the Clone Wars has," which is probably like my favorite line in the movie. And then that sweeping scene of like seeing all the clones.
That was also added in reshoots.
I can imagine, because it's literally only requires like 5 actors looking at a green screen.
That's why the score for that scene is weird. It's all temp track music from Phantom Menace.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it's a great scene. Don't get me wrong. I get goosebumps every time I see that.
It's so well done.
I just really is. The whole time was thinking of that video, Kevin, that you showed me of like Begun the Duck War has. It's like a giant, like inflatable duck. Like
yes. Like God, I want to say it was like, I think it was like the English Channel or something like that. They were just like some boat was like towing this giant rubber duck, and it's like Begun the Duck War has, and they were playing like the not Imperial March, but like the Temple March from like Order 66, and it's like dun 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 dun. It's like, what the hell is going on? I love it. I want it. Give me that duck.
So just before they go out to the arena, like, you know, Padme admits that she's like, I've been dying every single day since you've come back to my life. So, and did she like have a crush on him in the last movie? Is that?
I mean, sure. I mean, they were both really young. Yeah. I mean, she's like a few years older than him canonically. I think she was like, I think we said this in the last one. She's like 15. She's like 15 or 14 or something like that, and he's like 8 or 9. Yeah, so she's older than him, but not as much as you think that they are.
I was just like, I don't know. I didn't think about it until I saw something on like YouTube that said like why Padme fell in love with a 9-year-old, and I'm like, what? Okay. I didn't watch it yet. I probably will. But anyway, so this is probably my other favorite line of this movie, when they go out to the arena and Obi Wan is like chained up, and there's a scene we skipped, which we'll go back to in a second. But Obi-Wan's chained up, and he's like, you know, we transmitted the message you sent, and we decided to come and rescue you. Good job. He's just
he looks at his shackles like, bang up job, guys.
So sassy.
I mean, I would be too if I was in the middle of a sacrifice gladiatorial arena pit.
But sorry, but going back, I realized I forgot. Like when he's been, you know, Obi-Wan's captured, and he has this like talk with Dooku, and Dooku is joined the dark side, and do they not know that?
When Obi-Wan's like initially captured, there's this really like important bit of dialogue shared between Dooku and Obi-Wan. And it's like I was like, you traitor. It's like, oh no, my friend, this is a huge misunderstanding. They've gone too far. And like Dooku is like very much playing it off as like, no, this is like a complete misunderstanding. The Geonosians, they're just like, they really don't trust any outsiders. You were caught like trespassing. Like, you got to look at it from like our point of view. You're the outsider and you were trespassing. This is purely a precautionary measure, I assure you. And it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. Even though you are giving off like super like bad guy vibes and like the scene beforehand, I see where you're coming from on this. But
also, it's like he's playing it off like, you know, because he left the Order before becoming a Sith, right? Or are we supposed to assume he
left? I think like the timeline is like he left roughly 10 years ago. Coincidentally, around the same time, Master Sifo-Dyas placed the order for the clones and subsequently died, and led that chain of events to go into motion.
Dooku didn't leave the Order until Qui-Gon died.
What?
Which was 10 years ago.
I thought he...
Yeah. He became disillusioned with the Jedi Order when Qui-Gon died.
Oh, wait. Oh, I keep forgetting. Qui-Gon... Sorry, Dooku trained Qui-Gon.
Yes.
Okay, I kept thinking it was the opposite. Okay. Because, this scene, I was like, wait, are you...
And he wanted to destroy the Sith from the inside.
Kind of got a little bit...
That's not how the Sith works.
Once you're in, you're kind of in.
But, like, that was the scene. I was like, wait, so because Obi-Wan kept saying, "I'll never join you," and I'm like, because yeah, like Dooku's making a pretty compelling case.
Yeah, it's like,
so I was more like, why is Obi-Wan, like, does he know something? That's what I didn't understand. Like, he's like, no, I'm not going to join you. I'm not going to join you. I'm like, I get why you don't want to join him, but he, at this point, like, for all you know, he still might not be a Sith Lord. He might just, like, that's what was kind of throwing me.
Yeah, because I mean, he's telling him, like, yeah, like, what if I were to tell you that that hundreds of systems were currently under control of a Sith Lord in the Galactic Senate? It's like, no, like, the rest of the Jedi would have, like, been aware of this. Like, well, your order isn't as clairvoyant as they are. It's everything is clouded by the dark side, and that's, like, later confirmed with, like, a already existing scene with Mace Windu and Yoda, because I think around the same time Yoda has that scene of him, like, having, like, a feeling like Anakin's frustrations, or maybe like a scene prior to that in, like, that meditation room that Yoda's always in. It's like, I can no longer perceive the future. The dark side is too strong. And Mace Windu was like, yeah, I got nothing either. It's the future is completely clouded and foggy. And, like, Dooku is, like, trying to, like, yeah, it's like the Viceroy 10 years ago was betrayed by the Dark Lord and came to me for help. And we've since kind of formed this separatist alliance to kind of, like, separate ourselves from that Dark Lord and the corruption that he's caused within the Galactic Senate, so that way we can have a less corrupt version of our own system of government. And I think that was kind of like the building blocks of the Separatist Alliance that they're kind of, like, establishing in this movie, that kind of gets built upon more in the Star Wars Clone Wars TV show. And it's just really interesting how compelling and charismatic and kind of reasonable Dooku is being in this, even though for the most part he is the bad guy of this movie. Like, he has been framed so much to be the bad guy of this movie, and yet it's like, I've heard a lot of shit about you, but I'm kind of digging what you're throwing down right now. Does that make me the bad guy?
That's just why I wish we saw him more.
Yeah,
give us more reason to either be like, whether we root for him or not, just have him seen more. You casted Christopher Lee, like, let's see him more in the movie. But yeah, I thought we needed to talk about the scene, but anyway, yeah, back to the arena. And Padme's like, what is she using to, like, undo her handcuffs? Like
a hairpin or something?
Because I'm like, okay, I was wondering. I'm like, she was just holding that the whole time? She's the only one.
She just always has everyone always has a bobby pin whenever they have handcuffs. They just give you a bobby pin whenever you get handcuffed. It's standard protocol for every movie.
Yeah. But, like, I kind of love Anakin's, like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna escape? Or what about Padme? And, like, Obi-Wan's like, she's doing fine in her own.
Yeah, she seems to be on top of things, and she's, like, already halfway up the pillar. It's like, how did you not notice that?
You're right next to her. Yeah.
Another fun fact about the arena: there's 4 pillars in there, and they were originally intended to use all 4 of them.
Who was going to be the other?
Yeah, who was going to be the 4th?
R4-P17, Obi-Wan's astromech droid.
No, not R4. I'm glad he survived this movie, but I'm sad that he died in Revenge of the Sith. And he doesn't even have the audacity to remember him in A New Hope. It's like, I don't seem to recall ever owning a droid. R4, am I a joke to you?
Well, that's kind of Obi-Wan's thing throughout the whole series. She doesn't form attachments to droids.
True, but still, come on. R4 got him through so much.
What scene are we talking about?
In the opening scene in Revenge of the Sith, when they're, like, trying to fly, they're flying their ships in the middle of that battle.
Yeah.
And they have, like, all those, like, buzz droids all over their ship. His astromech droid basically gets decapitated by the droids that are, like, sabotaging his ship. That's R4.
Okay, yeah, okay. No, I meant like when you guys were talking about New Hope. I'm like, wait, when does he talk to another droid?
When he saves Luke from the Tusken
so
Raiders.
R2 is what we're talking about. Yeah,
he's referring to R2. It's like, yeah, this droid said that he belongs. He was like, I didn't seem to ever recall owning a droid. It's like, R4, am I a joke to you?
Really?
It's like, really? Because you kind of would have been dead 3 times over without me, buddy.
But wouldn't he have his memory have been wiped? So R2. So
yeah, but I mean,
R2's memory was never wiped.
What?
Well, in the Clone Wars TV show, I think it was wiped at the end of Revenge of the Sith, along with 3PO.
I don't think R2's ever was, because he had no way to share that information.
But Jimmy Smits's character, Bail Organa, Basil Oregano, Sam.
you don't have to translate for me.
Well, I'm going to anyway. He says when they're pressed into his service on the Tantive 4, I believe, he tells his head of security, it's like, okay, put them into maintenance and have the droid's memories wiped. And 3P goes, oh no, in a very dramatic fashion that he says things. So I just assumed that also applied to R2.
I can't find the exact quote, but they only specify C-3PO's memory.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Holy crap, that would change so damn much, because R2 was with them on Tatooine. So he would know, probably maybe piece together who Luke is.
I guess that does kind of carry over. I guess that also does kind of carry over the theory as to why R2 refuses to stay with the ship on Cloud City and constantly follows Luke, because the last time he was told to stay with the ship, Anakin never came back.
Oh! Oh my god. Oh.
Damn it, Ben. I knew there was a reason we had you on.
I'm assuming
on Mustafar. Yeah. We'll get into that next time.
Anyway,
next time on Dragon Ball Z.
So they all are free now, and they're all fighting by whatever means. And was that they're handcuffed? So I'm assuming the whole whatever the whole game is just for monsters to kill them, or are they supposed to be able to get free, and that's kind of what the fight is?
I actually looked this up. It's actually a somewhat common thing, like a common spectacle in Geonosian society, that if you are able to defeat the chosen opponent that has been assigned to you in a fair combat trial by combat thing, they'll more likely release you. It was just perceived that there was no way that they would win because they were restrained to a pillar and completely unarmed. They weren't given a weapon. They basically had the entire deck stacked against them, and when they were seen winning, the audience is cheering the entire time for them. It's like, oh wow, this is a great show. And the only reason why it didn't carry on is because Newt Gunray is it's like patience, she will die, and then they sent out all the droidicas, and at that point you notice the audience is silent at that point, because it's that's kind of a
hold up, this isn't tradition.
Yeah, that's kind of a taboo in their society. Is that is. I was all for them being kind of chained to the pillar. That was kind of entertaining, seeing them escape, but it's there's no sport in this. This is just a firing squad. Why don't we just open up with that and just gone on to sacrificing this droid to the Nexu that ripped that lady's shirt into a crop top?
It's so unnecessary. It just frustrates me so much.
So another fun fact about the arena set was an actual physical prop.
Yes, wow. Along with the outside landscape shots of the city of Camino.
Yeah,
that was
those were done by
Adam Savage.
Adam Savage and Tori.
Yep,
I think helped with that also.
That's cool.
Yeah, and Grant Imahara did a lot of the he did a lot of the astromech building scenes.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so half the Mythbusters worked on Star Wars in some way or another.
Well, that's where Adam knew Tori from.
Yeah, it was just that's how they started and then worked their way up into it. So yeah, it was just fun fact for all you Mythbuster fans out there that probably already knew this.
So then,
I mean, I think they explained it in the show.
Probably.
So then the Jedi all show up, and we get this it's a pretty cool fight. Just all the Jedi are like fighting side by side, or it's not all the Jedi, but
it's like pretty much like all like the well known and like very popular ones, like the entire Jedi Council's there, or well, all the surviving ones like Yaddle and Jarl Poof are already dead by this point. Like all the ones that are able to like wield a lightsaber are there. I mean, we got Luminara and her apprentice Barriss, your favorite Sam. We got Plo Koon, we got Aayla Secura, Shakti, before she has like her 3 canonical deaths. I swear, like she has died so many times in Star Wars, it's not even funny anymore. Shakti, the lady who's like the same species as Ahsoka.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, she's died like 3 different times in Star Wars. Like one was a deleted scene in Revenge of the Sith. Then another one was like there was like 2 deleted scenes in Revenge of the Sith where she dies. And then the most recent one is something that happened through Order 66 that I kind of don't want to get into because it's like it's very heavy spoiler territory, and I've already said a lot.
Yeah.
So, but you can kind of guess based off of when this episode's come out and what has just recently come out. But yeah, like pretty much like all of, like the main name popular Jedi that one would recognize off of first glance are in that scene in some way or another, and a bunch of other unnamed Jedi just to kind of fill in the spaces.
Oh, most of those Jedi were named. They're just
but
any canon, any stuff. In the movies.
Although I do like there's this kind of recurring meme that after the events of this movie, naturally there's like a bunch of like merchandise that comes out of this. One of them being this Lego set that featured a Lego Jedi minifigure of some random unnamed Jedi, and that the Star Wars community has since named that Lego character Jedi Bob, because canonically he is not a mentioned Jedi anywhere in the canon of Star Wars. So Jedi Bob is now a part of Star Wars because there's been multiple mods to put him in like pre-existing like video games. I think there's like a Jedi Bob skin for like Battlefront 2 as like Obi Wan or something. So it's just you're playing as Obi Wan, but it just looks like Jedi Bob. and it's the most magical thing that the fandom has made in a while. So going back into the fight, all the Jedi are just like fighting like all these droids, and we get to see the super battle droids, the B2 super battle droids. Jango Fett's there, and he killed Dino Jedi, who just pops up out of nowhere to try and fight Dooku, and gets like blasted into oblivion before he even gets a chance to really defend himself. And then Dooku
Mace Windu kills Jango Fett.
Yeah, just randomly out of nowhere, Jango Fett decides to like, I'm going to join this fight. I enjoy killing Jedi, and I'm pretty good at it. I'm going to join this fight. And even though there's really no need for him to do that.
That's how he was chosen to be the source material for this.
Yeah, because he's
There's a galaxy-wide hunt for a certain Jedi. Or a Jedi Padawan or something like that.
Yeah, he is...
And he was the one who did it.
Yeah, he is a very competent and very powerful
You can play out those events in the Bounty Hunter video game.
Yes. Which I think came out after this movie in like
2000. It came out shortly after this movie.
And it was very popular.
So Jango Fett he's a bounty hunter, but is he a Mandalorian?
He fought in the...
Are they like of... Like in as like
he fought in the Mandalorian Civil Wars.
So he like of Mandalore. I mean,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know in the Clone Wars TV show.
So that's why they chose him.
Yeah,
one of the reasons they probably chose
him. Because he I think his like kill count for Jedi was like 50 something. It was like a ridiculously high amount for just one guy.
Yeah.
Because he used a lot of weapons that are very hard for Jedi to deflect, like slug rounds, which are basically flamethrowers, slug rounds, and
that's why Mandalorians all have flamethrowers. You can't deflect a flamethrower with a lightsaber.
Yes, until we see Obi Wan deflect that and slug rounds in the 2003 Clone Wars thing when he's fighting Dirge, because he fires slug rounds, which are basically bullets, unlike lasers. You can deflect lasers, but slug rounds, that's going to create shrapnel and just go right into you and kill you or injure you. Which is one thing that Mandalorians use a lot as well.
Anyway, so like, bad's going on, then Yoda appears and with all the clones, and I just think this next part between them escaping from the arena to the fight with Dooku just goes on way too long. And it's like, okay, yes, we get it, a war is starting, but it lasted forever.
It really drug out, but I felt like it needed to because we had so little scenes with Christopher Lee. I felt like we got Christopher Lee. He's a really good fencer. We need to have him at least have a lightsaber fight. And they even gave him like a cool like custom lightsaber.
No, it wasn't the lightsaber fight. It was actually that did go on for a
little bit. It went on. It went on for a while.
The fight, the like droids fighting, like up before that part.
Oh,
when they're chasing him on the speeder.
Oh yeah, that went on for a while.
Padmé falls out of the ship, and
along with one unnamed clone, and there's been like 20,000 theories on who that clone ends up being, because at that point they don't have names because they're
right.
They're all serial numbers.
Yeah.
I think there was one theory that clone ended up being Captain Rex.
Oh.
It's like cool.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, like none of this is confirmed because there's no evidence on what that clone ended up doing later on, as far as I know. But yeah, it was just there was so much going on in terms of showcasing this CGI battle, and that was one complaint I remember hearing that a lot of people have. It's just two identical CGI armies fighting each other. They're just copied? Yeah, it's like but it's cool looking. Just let us have this.
Cool. It just went on for a really long time.
It went on for a while.
Yeah. Well, the visuals of that scene were very well defined.
Yeah, it wasn't bad to look at.
The clone troopers always move from right to left on the screen, and the battle droids always move from left to right.
Son of a bitch! How have I not noticed that?
And then the sun lighting and stuff is set up to give a darker sky behind the Separatists. The missile contrails are white for the Republic and a darker black-purple for the droids.
I mean, Star Wars knows set design.
Yeah.
And
they did a lot of work in that scene so you could easily identify which side was which.
Oh my gosh.
So when Anakin and Obi Wan gets the hangar, and their fight with Count Dooku, and Obi Wan's like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and he's like, no, and he like runs at him, and is he like? I just didn't understand why he was so angry. Was he friends with some of these Jedi that had just probably died, or
probably?
Okay, I don't know. It just seemed very like.
I think it was just a mix of emotions of like, you almost killed me, my master, who I view as the closest thing to a father figure. I just lost my mother like 12 hours ago. You almost killed the woman
I love just fell out of ship.
Yeah, she could be dead for all I know right now, and you just killed like half the people that I've come to know over the past 10 years. I'm very emotional right now, and I'm gonna come at you like a rabid raccoon, and you're just gonna zap me.
But anyway, this fight, like Obi-Wan immediately gets hurt, and then he like tosses his lightsaber to Anakin, and he's fighting with two, and then he loses his hand because
continuity.
What's a Star Wars movie if the main character doesn't lose their hand?
Yeah, seriously.
And then I almost said Obi-Wan. Yoda comes in and like
gives us the most surprising fight no one was expecting. I remember seeing that in theaters.
But everyone wanted to see.
Everyone wanted to see, but no one was expecting. Because he's flipping around like a madman through this scene.
Like a frog on ketamine.
Yeah, that's right. And everyone's like, wait, if he's able to do that, why the hell is he walking around with a cane?
It's part of the reasoning for that was he's using the Force to aid him.
How strong is Yoda?
He is considered the strongest Jedi in the Order at that point.
He's the Grand Master.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a scene in the very beginning of the movie when Anakin and Palpatine are talking, and Palpatine's like, you're becoming one of the finest Jedi. You're even stronger or better or whatever than Yoda. And then just it cuts right away. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we're done with that. It just seemed like a very weird note to end on, and then we just cut to something else.
Yeah, Yoda's basically Jedi Pope.
Jedi Pope. So before when everybody at Coruscant got the message about Obi Wan being in Geonosis, what was it they give Palpatine emergency powers to create an army?
Yes, so and basically they were saying in this scene after they got the transmission that the Separatists was like, they have an army and they can attack. We really need a way to defend ourselves. And they were saying it's like, well, there's no way that the Senate will approve something like that this quickly because of how bogged down the system is, because of how corrupt it is, because Palpatine kind of did that. So it's like, well, and his basically his VP creates a suggestion. It's like, well, if he was given emergency powers and made into the Supreme Chancellor, then he could create he could authorize the use of an army. It's like, but what senator would be crazy enough to do that? And it's like, Jar Jar Binks is in the room. Did someone say crazy? And it's like, well, if only Senator Amidala was here, she totally would have done that. And they kind of say it in a way that is like, oh, okay, Jar Jar should do this, to kind of make him do it. But then that kind of goes into the whole Dark Jar Jar theory that it's like, this was the plan from the beginning, and they were just doing that to cover their tracks.
And Jar Jar is being it's weird because Jar Jar's being super useful in this scene. That's if he wasn't, that's the issue, is he wasn't being as useful in Phantom Menace, and so of course that was that was my annoyance of Jar Jar, and that was what I didn't. So okay, everybody was like, yay, clapping, cheering for giving Palpatine all these powers, and then he does the first thing that Bale had said, no, the Senate is not going to approve of making an army. And so I was like, wait, so did they not know that Palpatine's going to make an army?
No, they knew that they were going to do that because, hey, it's clear, because even Jar Jar's saying this in his speech, is it's clear that the Separatists are willing and ready to attack. We need to have an army. That's why I propose we give Chancellor Palpatine emergency powers, and then everyone almost unanimously agrees, so it almost seemed kind of pointless to give him powers.
That's what I thought, exactly.
But it was necessary for him to have those powers in order to carry out the next several phases of his plan during the Clone Wars.
The other thing the Emergency Powers Act did was it extended his term as Chancellor.
Yes.
He was nearing the end of his term limit.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And so this essentially let him stay in power forever.
Yeah. It basically renewed his subscription to being the Chancellor. God, would you like to renew your service? Yes. Yes, and
so after the fight of Anakin versus Dooku, Anakin and Obi Wan versus Dooku, I remember Padmé just runs going Anakin and hugs him, and I'm I guess nobody knows technically at this point that they both just declared that they're in love, but I just still thought it was okay, contact. But anyway, Obi-Wan sees this as a victory, and nope, Yoda's like, begun the Clone Wars has, which you guys were talking about, is a really great line and a great scene. And yeah, I do agree, that scene of all the clones just
boarding the ship, and all the ATTE tanks like walking around, like everyone's like standing in formation. It's such a beautiful shot, and it's just so foreboding, because you do hear like an Imperial like march theme kind of playing as this is happening. It's like, so these guys do become stormtroopers, but they've been played as good guys to this point. It confused like little Kevin, like child Kevin, watching this. It's just like, wait, they're good guys, but they become bad guys. How do they? I could not wrap my head around of this sudden yet inevitable betrayal that was going to be happening a couple years later.
Curse your son.
Yes, I couldn't figure that out.
Wait, sorry, of what?
Of the clones, because like they become stormtroopers and there's no Jedi, so it's like something happened in between, and I couldn't figure it out, and for the life of me, until Order 66 happened.
Yeah.
So that happens, and then we get the final shot of the movie, because like you said, Sam, it seems like every other scene seems like the ending of this scene.
Yeah.
Well, every Star Wars movie has to end on a scene with no dialogue. Except for Rogue One.
Right. But before any of that, during the Battle of Geonosis, we see like Dooku and like some of the other Separatists like, hey, like how did this happen? And Dooku's like has like the poorest time pretending to be surprised, like, oh yeah, this totally wasn't the plan. It's like, oh, where did they all come from? There's too many of them. We can't defend this. We gotta call a retreat. And in the background, and we see Poggle Lesser like pull this down, there's a huge hologram of this rotating dome, this floating sphere. It's like, that looks awfully familiar. And he pulls it down. It's like, if the Republic figures out what we've been planning, we're doomed. And it's like, oh, I'll take these plans to Coruscant. They'll be safer with my master. And he pulls it up, and it's blueprints for the Death Star. It's like, holy crap.
Yeah. It was the Republic's empire
weapon
to win the war.
When did then the very beginning of Rogue One when Jin's
about, it would have been around this time.
That's what I was thinking.
Or it would have been shortly, kind of around the end of the Clone Wars.
So like right after the Purge.
Okay.
Probably basically the timeline Bad Batch sits in.
They made the design and he just built it.
Yeah. Yeah, they made the blueprints, and then there was like 3 different like
he was designing. He was helping with the power and weapon systems.
Yes. Because they kind of, it's like it revolves around, its primary power source was like a large kyber crystal.
That was for the main weapon.
Yes, yeah, and that there was a cut story arc in the Clone Wars of General Grievous stealing a large kyber crystal, and it somehow gets shot, and it just vaporizes like several tanks. You can find these on YouTube if you're interested, for the people listening. But I'm kind of bummed that episode didn't get made, because that would have been really cool to see.
So the very last scene of this movie is Anakin and Padmé's wedding, and I'm first still thinking, like, what a beautiful location for a wedding.
Yeah,
like,
and we got the 2 perfect best men, R2 and 3PO, and but yeah, my main question is, who is the priest, and is he aware that this is a Jedi and a senator? Because clearly Anakin's still wearing his Jedi robes, and it's like, this guy is so obviously looking like a Jedi. Is he aware this is going on?
I was gonna ask that.
What kind of wedding was this? Was it an agnostic wedding? Was it a Jewish wedding? Like, what kind of wedding was it?
But also, I was totally thinking that. But also, like, that's what I don't. So, as a senator, like, okay, if he wasn't a Jedi, would it be allowed? her to be in a relationship with him? Like, what?
I mean, for her, she's a senator. I mean, she's like pretty much married to her job. I mean, she's not like not allowed to marry people. Like, I mean,
because it seems like the
Jimmy Smits. Yeah, Jimmy Smits has like a wife. Like, you're a senator. You're not celibate.
The risk is obviously all on him, which he's more than willing to,
take part in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's because she's like, you're a Jedi, I'm a senator. I'm like, you being a senator doesn't really have anything to do with this, because it doesn't make a difference if you're a senator or not. It's that he's a Jedi.
Yeah. I think she was just emphasizing of just like, I have like a crazy important job serving the Republic as well as you. I think that's what more or less what she was trying to convey, rather than, no, we can't do it, like we have conflicting jobs. Like they kind of go hand in hand for the most part, because they both serve the Republic. They're both servants of the Republic.
Yeah.
I think she was just emphasizing, is like, no, I have a crazy stressful job, and so do you. I mean, yours is probably a little bit more stressful, since yours is a little bit more life and limb. No pun intended, since you lost your arm.
But there's a scene, I know, and it zooms in on like when they're like holding they're holding their hands, or holding each other's hands, and he's like, his robot hand is holding hers. Yeah. But there's a scene I remember, like in like the Die Hard episode of Clone Wars, which that's how it is. What it is, I can't look at it I can't see it.
Yeah, it's 100% Die Hard.
But he's like, hey, we should go away together, and I'm like, does he have clothes that aren't Jedi? Because it seems like then I guess it wouldn't matter if they went away together. They're still going to be like, oh, he's a Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, so I was trying to picture like he just like somewhere in her closet she's got like some of his actual clothes. It's like, what are these?
Yeah. It's like, you had that this entire time.
So this is that's Attack of the Clones. Before we get into like how real is this, do you guys think, oh man, I lost. Okay, between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, I know, Kevin, you kind of think Attack of the Clones is a little better, but I am curious, like, what do you guys think which is better, Attack of the Clones or Phantom Menace?
Attack of the Clones. I mean, I feel like I've said why I don't like Phantom Menace as much, because they had so much evidence. Why did they not share any of that?
Yeah.
I will never know, but yeah, that's pretty much my main reason. And this one, I just felt like it had a lot more, I guess, intrigue with it, that it just it worked for this movie. I guess that's pretty much my main reason why I like this movie more than Phantom Menace. But yeah, that's pretty much my 2 cents on this. So Ben,
I have fonder memories of this one because this is the first one I remember seeing in theaters.
Yeah.
So that kind of skews everything.
So this one's just more nostalgic for you than anything. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
I'll allow it.
I feel like I'm still kind of in the middle. There are a lot of things about this. I feel like because there's so much more going on, there are more things that I'm like, why isn't this more prominent? Why isn't this more prominent? And why is this, there's too much focus on this and this? Like, so I don't know. I'm seeing kind of both. I think the biggest reason why people say this is worse is because of some of the dialogue, and because, not everybody loves Hayden Christensen's performance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of all of it. But I agree. There's, again, the more going on is like, it's a pro and a con, because the pro is like, yes, it's more interesting, but then there's stuff that's slipping through the cracks and not getting the attention it needs. So Kevin, how real is this to you?
I feel like this is a little bit more real than Phantom Menace, at least. It's still a very convoluted and crazy to follow plot, especially with like the entire breadcrumb trail that Obi Wan follows, from trying to arrest a guy to conveniently finding all of this like the entire army and Camino and all that, and it just goes on and on and on of dealing with all this crazy stuff that I mean, I do enjoy this movie, and especially with what it is trying to do. I do definitely think it pulls it off a lot better than Phantom Menace, but I do feel like with how crazy and convoluted and how meticulous that Palpatine's plan had to go in this way in order for it to work, I felt like something realistically would have happened that would have thrown a wrench in his operation, and he would have had to start from scratch or try to salvage it in some way, and had to have directly interfere with either himself or some other pawn that we would see directly interacting. So I'm going to say no. And I feel like that more or less kind of goes hand in hand with Phantom Menace, in my opinion, on that. Because his plan, it just seems so crazy that literally anything could have gone wrong, and he would have either had to start from scratch or had to directly interfere, thus implicating himself in his own plot.
Yeah. It's kind of insane that all the things definitely lined up for him. Especially, Anakin being like, I mean, I don't know. We'll talk about it more when we get to Revenge of the Sith, but like Anakin, I feel like was maybe in his head was very clearly going to play out exactly as he thought, when in reality he was kind of a wild card.
Well,
like it could have gone so many directions.
The thing with Anakin was more scripted than they even showed in the movies. I don't know where it comes from, but supposedly Dooku paid off the Tusken Raiders to kidnap Shmi Skywalker.
What?
Huh. What? Okay. Did not know that.
Oh my! Holy crap!
That changes a lot, and I genuinely did not know that.
Oh my god!
Is that in the novelization?
I don't know where that comes from.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that changes a lot.
Holy shit!
Wow. Okay, yeah.
I mean, he still didn't have to kill all the Tusken Raiders.
I mean, I feel like he kind of had to, at least a little bit.
I mean,
just a little
bit. I feel like, in terms of plausibility, you keep making more and more convincing arguments about Palpatine. We'll talk about Revenge of the Sith. I was kind of, after Clone Wars, I was kind of blown away by how deep this plan went, how well thought of, how like it's insane. So I agree that a lot could have. It's very much. It's very lucky for Palpatine that things just kind of all went in his favor. But I think specifically for this movie, I think there's just a lot of behaviorally, particularly from Anakin, there's a lot of things that I totally believe. But I also think, like, just in general, I want to say I agree. It's not as it's like I'm split. I want to say it's kind of not real because things were made a little bit too, particularly for Anakin and Padme, a little too cheesy. Romance novel, like I've said a couple of times. But I don't know. Everything kind of seemed like, like event wise, it seemed like it all made sense. There wasn't really anything that I didn't believe. If anything, it was just like the little things, like Padme having so many damn outfits, and that I'm like, really? Or the fact that actually, I think that was why I was saying this can't be real, because her hair changes so much, and it doesn't make sense. Like,
but, I mean, this is a future where you can literally heal any wound in a bathtub of medicine, and you think her changing her hairstyle that frequently? You don't think that she just has like a machine in there that just like salon style changes her hairstyle?
It's just like her hair is like, okay, straight, then it's curly, then it's back to straight, and it's like, what? Like, That's not how hair is. Okay, you know what? Okay,
I'm just picturing like she just has like a room like dedicated like in like her ships and like her like rooms that she like her buildings that she stays in. That like remember in like the Jimmy Neutron movie, like he just has that like crazy machine setup that just changes his hair like crazy. Like he gets like a mohawk and like all these other things.
Yes.
I'm picturing like something like that.
I mean, she probably just has a droid that does it.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Just yeah, she has like some like technology
like one
or
of those
something
wacky
that just,
medical droids.
Yeah.
So,
like, yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of split. I think I think I want to say no, but I realize a lot of it is like, or actually yes, because it makes sense why, from the Jedi standpoint, why we wouldn't be cutting back and forth between them and Dooku and like all this stuff. So I'm kind of split, but I guess if I have to pick one, I'll say no. Ben?
What was the initial question?
Do you think that this is real or not? Like, could this actually happen the way it did in the movie?
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's. I could see how events could lead to it happening that way. I guess.
I just think it's way too convenient. I mean, at least in the Clone Wars TV show, we do see like Palpatine and Dooku having to like directly interfere to like either like cover like directly cover something up or like arrange something in a way that they would have to.
Yeah, I guess that's where the problem comes in. Is there's not enough background to what's going on given in the movie.
Yeah, I guess I think they were just trying to like keep it like secret that Palpatine was a Sith Lord, even though it seemed kind of obvious that he was a Sith Lord. It's like, who else could that be? I recognize, like, I know we can only see like a small portion of his face, but I mean, he's not even hiding his voice. It's just him in a black robe, and we can only see like half of like the front of his face. Like, there's only so many people on who that could be, and I'm pretty sure who that is. And this is coming from probably like 6-year-old me with like my head on like still trying to figure out the sudden yet inevitable betrayal of the clones. I can't wrap my head around that, but I can wrap my head on who spooky guy is in a robe.
I think that's sort of like how I was when I was watching it. It's like I just knew Palpatine was the Emperor from the beginning, and I don't remember ever learning that. I just knew it.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem like.
Don't know if I did.
I mean, it didn't seem like a surprise. I mean, if it was supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I don't remember like a major shock. Maybe a little, or if anything, it was more like, oh, okay.
It's like, I think that was more your reaction.
Probably. Yeah. So, yeah, seems like Ben and I are kind of in the same. Maybe. Yeah. So that was Phantom Menace. Obviously, we'll continue on.
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. I don't even. God.
That was the second prequel.
It's Attack of the Clones. I'm sorry, we've been talking for a while. So yeah, please keep listening next week, or when next week will be Revenge of the Sith, which I'm really excited to talk about.
Yes.
That one is also going to be probably has to be 2 parts. Like, there's just no way.
Easily. Ben, will you be joining us for that one as well? Please say yes.
I should be able to, I guess.
All right, we'll figure it out. We'll work a right way around it. We need to have you on at this point.
Gonna have to pull my arm for that one.
Oh yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. You can find us on Google. Did you say Google Podcasts?
Yeah. I think that's what it's called now. I think
I don't even remember.
We have to ask him what we're on.
I think that's what it's called nowadays. It used to be Google Play Music, and it had a podcast tab, but now that app is entirely gone. Yeah, it's Google Podcasts.
Okay, awesome. All right. You can find us on that. Yeah,
Apple, Stitcher, over. I believe it is called Overcast.
YouTube, Spotify, pretty much wherever you can find a podcast, we're on there in some form or another.
And follow us on Instagram. We typically give updates on like what's upcoming and what's been released. Yeah, so that is it for this episode. Anything else to add, guys?
I think that pretty much covers it. May the 4th be with you guys. I'm sure that's already passed by now, but still. And I hope you guys are enjoying this because we enjoy making it. And if you guys have any recommendations, Ben, I'm looking at you for next week.
I
you got to
have
give
some
us
ideas.
a recommendation.
I have some ideas.
All right. Yeah, if you guys have any recommendations, like hit us up on like Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Just put down a comment on what you guys would want to us to review or talk about, because we love doing this, and we can't really do this without you guys, but we will if we have to. That being said, I'm Kevin Tracy.
I'm Samantha Tomlinson.
I'm Ben Decker.
You've been listening to Movie Reel. Bye-bye, folks.